5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, welcome RoundTable family back to another exciting episode of the Sports RoundTable Trio Edition. As always, joined by my co-host Little Bro Coop and Big Boy. I'm Rowdy, and we're already starting off with our special guest. He was here last year for season 1. If you tuned in, Michael Smeltzer here joining us from the Wolverine Chronicle, Michigan Insider, the owner over there. Glad he's joining us. Obviously, to talk the big matchup, the Big Noon Kickoff, college game day, Texas at Michigan. Who's barely inside the top 10 now. We won't talk anymore about much more than that. But we're glad you're joining us. We're pumped. Obviously, he's our Michigan guy. We had him on last year to kind of preview the playoffs and the Natty. So glad you could come back and join us, man.
Man, I'm so glad to be here, guys. And Rowdy, thanks for calling out that we're almost outside the top 10. You know, something happened since the last time we talked or the last time I was on your show. I don't know if you guys realized, but Michigan is the reigning national champs right now, man. 15-0 national champs. So you guys can talk all you want. You got a pretty good team this year. I'm excited for Texas. But hey, we're the reigning champs.
No doubt.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Reigning champs. We'll get into it. Obviously, we appreciate your time. We won't waste too much of it. This little blabber. You know, Big Boy's feeling good. I got a call from Big Boy today. He may talk about it. This is the best he's ever felt. You know, he's usually like a half empty, half full type of guy whenever it comes to Texas. And he called me today. It's scaring me. Like, I don't know how confident I am anymore. I was pretty confident, but now Big Boy this confident, it's not a good sign sometimes. So
it's like his Cowboys.
Yeah, it's like the Cowboys. No doubt. Well, I kind of started off, obviously, big thing in the offseason, besides Harbaugh leaving, was J.J. McCarthy gone. Quarterback situation unknown. Did it kind of come to a surprise to you that Davis Warren was named starter for the Fresno State game? Do you think he's still going to stay the starter going into this weekend at home versus the Longhorns? And do you think there's obviously Twitter rumors here and there, Strome kind of playing little mind games to go with this kind of opposite quarterback and Alex Orji? What do you kind of think there?
Yeah, so it was a surprise that Davis Warren was named the starter. I think most of the Michigan faithful thought Alex Orji would be the guy. But nobody really knows what his arm looks like. And I'll tell you, one of the throws he threw in week 1 was one of the ugliest throws we've seen in recent Michigan history. And so that might be why Davis Warren came out and started. Davis Warren, we love him. You know, he I don't know if you know much about his story, but he beat leukemia when he was younger. He good head on his shoulders, but he's not one of these high profile 5-star guys. And so he reminds me a little bit, not his personality, but just his skill set of a guy by the name of Cade McNamara that we had a couple years ago. And so I've been saying the blueprint for a game like Texas is similar to what Michigan did against Ohio State in 2021 when Cade McNamara was the starter, not really relying on the quarterback to do too much, put him in positions to succeed, try to establish the run game, play solid defense, get good field position, limit possessions. I really think that's what this is going to come down to. But as far as the quarterback position goes, you can bet your ass, guys, that you're going to see Alex Orji on the field. Like there's a 0% chance that Alex Orji does not enter this game. And there's going to be some packages. I think they're going to let him air it out a couple times. I'm pretty sure this game has been circled on the calendar for a very long time. So you're going to get a heavy dose of both quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're going to have some packages definitely for him. Josiah Stewart and Rayshon Benny combined for 3 sacks against Fresno. That doesn't include Graham Mason, getting in there. The Bulldogs still pass for 235. For me, the biggest test for the Horns will be the offensive line versus Michigan's D-line. Do you think the Michigan defensive line will be able to stop Quinn from having a big game?
Man, I agree. That's the key matchup. And I actually think it has more to do with can Texas establish any kind of run game versus listen, Quinn Ewers is a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. I think we don't really know yet if he's a great quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, we're kind of still figuring that out. He might be, he could be. He's definitely, I mean, he's in my top 5 Heisman candidates right now. Like, the dude is solid, but if Michigan is able to shut down the run game, if those guys that you just listed there, big boy, if those dudes are not allowing any yardage on the ground, it's a lot to ask of Quinn Ewers to win that game with his arm. You know what I mean? Will Johnson is maybe the best cornerback in the entire country. The secondary is experienced. Makari Page is a safety that's started for multiple years, started in the national championship game. So, like, there's no slouches on this defense. The offense, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that. It's not pretty right now, in Ann Arbor, but this defense could be the best defense in the country again. And so that matchup on the line, you mentioned Josiah Stewart. There's a guy across from him, Derek Moore, as well. That edge duo might be one of the best edge duos in the country. And then you move interior, Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham might be one of the best, or they're definitely one of the best interior tackle duos in the country. So that's what I'll be looking at. I don't know the answer, but that's what I'll be looking at. If we can get to Quinn Ewers and stop Texas from establishing the run. I know you guys are a little thin at running back right now. You know what I mean? They had some offseason injuries, so I'm hoping that Michigan can slow down, that front offensive line a little bit.
Yeah, kind of staying on that. My biggest concern for the Longhorns is Wink Martindale. I mean, that scares me. He scares me against Quinn. I know the Michigan defense have used Wink's scheme, a lot, and now the originator's there. So what do you think he's added to the already, stout defense that Michigan had?
Yeah, well, so we had a guy by the name of Jesse Minter, who's now the defensive coordinator for Harbaugh at the Chargers. Before that, we had a guy by the name of Mike McDaniel, who's now the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Not a bad lineage of defensive coordinators we've had at Michigan. Now, Wink Martindale comes in. He's the guy that actually, he calls himself the godfather of that scheme that those two other guys would run. I mean, they were all with John Harbaugh at the Baltimore Ravens together. And so Wink Martindale, what we saw in week 1, it's hard to tell when you're playing Fresno State. Everybody, the defense was looking good. We don't really know what we have until we face a team like Texas, but and we also don't know Wink Martindale was not really pulling out all the stops, but what we saw in the second half when it looked like Michigan was in a tighter game than they expected to be, what we saw from Wink was really creative use of the linebacker position. That's what I noticed first and foremost. We got a guy, Jay-Sean Barham. He's a Maryland transfer. I think he's rocking number 1. So you guys keep an eye on number 1. He's a linebacker. He looked like he was going to murder somebody on the field in that second half, and Wink was disguising the blitzes. He didn't get home on any of them, but he definitely affected the play. So if I was going to pick like an underrated player to keep an eye on in this Texas game, it would definitely be Jay-Sean Barham and looking at how Wink Martindale uses him.
Yeah, for sure. And you kind of touched on it a little bit. Will Johnson, obviously, he's going to be an All-American, first-round draft pick, but not so fast. The Texas receivers are really deep. They're coming in. Sark's going to play a bunch of them. Is there anything else you can tell us about the rest of Michigan's secondary and how they're going to perform this week?
Yeah, you hit me with the Lee Corso there, man.
That's
okay,
right.
I see.
I can bring it out a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, man, Texas is deep at receiver. They've been deep at receiver, and it looks like they might even be deeper this year than they've been in years past, which is kind of crazy. I mean, you look at Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, Jordan Whittington, like you guys just retooled after that. I think Michigan's going to fare okay. If I'm being honest with you, as far as defending the pass goes, I don't think Here's the thing. I know I could look really foolish on Saturday after this thing's all said and done, but I don't think that Quinn is gonna pass for more than 280. I really don't. I would be surprised if he just torches us. I just don't. I don't think we have the type of defense where he's going to be able to get the ball deep down the field, because in order to get the ball deep down the field, you got to have time, and I just don't know if he's going to have time. I can tell you that if he has time to throw the ball, and if Quinn Ewers is very comfortable, it's going to be a long day for Michigan, because that's what we need, right? The strongest part of our team is getting pressure on the quarterback, forcing turnovers. And so if Quinn starts slicing and dicing us and he's looking comfortable and that jersey's clean, it's going to be a long day for Michigan for sure.
Can't hear you.
Boy. Oh, big boy.
Fix your service.
We lost your audio.
Big boy, we lost you.
Can't hear your audio, big boy.
Oh, my bad. Hey, you there?
There it is.
All right, that's professionalism right there, boys. All right. Sorry, I have to ask this. The Connor Stallions doc. In my opinion, I wish UT had a guy that was that dedicated to Longhorn football. That's how I feel. I would kill to have two of them. But from what you know, is this a good representation of what happened last year? And do you think that any other punishments will happen, or can we finally put this to rest?
Man, I want to put it to rest, but no, they're gonna come after us a little bit more. They're gonna try to get. I don't think we're gonna get forfeiting wins or games. Definitely not forfeiting the national championship. I don't think. But they're gonna try to sanction us a little, for a few more things. It's funny. My wife watched that Connor Stallions documentary and came to me and was like, "That is you if you never got married." That's what she said. And I'm like, and I feel that on a deep level, man. When I was watching him with his spreadsheets and all of that, it's like that. The fact that there's another human being with that passion for Michigan football on this planet, just like I feel connected to him on a deep level. At the end of the day, do I believe everything he said? No. I mean, look, most Michigan fans are going to die on a cross for Connor Stallions and say everything he's saying is true. Like, come on, I'm realistic about it. Like, that was probably him on the Central Michigan sideline. He probably did break some rules, but I will never, ever, ever admit that the games Michigan was winning were because of Connor Stallions. They just weren't. I mean, you look at the way Michigan was winning. They were lining up across from people and just like shoving it down their throat. They had bigger guys, better guys, stronger guys. At the end of the day, that was one of the many reasons why Michigan got better. It was a small reason. Michigan was doing a lot of things, taking a lot of things to the next level. And I think it was really telling at the beginning of the documentary. They were talking about how Ohio State was beating Michigan for consecutive years. And they were like, it's almost like they know our plays, like they know what's going on. And they were kind of alluding to the fact that that kind of stuff was already going on. And Ohio State was just doing it better than Michigan. When Michigan started doing it better than Ohio State, that's when everybody starts making a big deal out of it. And, I'm not trying to point too many fingers, but there's several other places where that level of sign stealing was going on.
Definitely. I definitely agree.
And then going back to the offensive side of the ball, we watched a clip of Wolverine Chronicle, and you said that Khalil Mullings will start over Donovan Edwards. How likely do you think that is truly?
He's not. He probably won't start the game, but he's RB1. He's RB1. I feel bad because I put a bet on him to win the Heisman, and I knew I shouldn't have done it. Not Khalil. I'm sorry, I did that for Donovan Edwards.
Yeah, right.
And I feel like I cursed him. The last guy I bet on to win the Heisman for Michigan was Joe Milton, and that did not pan out at all. But Khalil Mullings is much more between the tackles, grinded out. He's being a little more patient, following his blocks, but. We call Donovan Edwards Big Game Don at Michigan because he shows up in the big games. And if you've been watching close enough, guys, like Washington, the national championship, Ohio State, Penn State, Donovan Edwards, he's a home run hitter. And so if he gets in space, he's gone. He's got that elite speed, elite size, and he's also got a unique ability to catch the football. And so we're going to use him. Coop, to answer your question, I think Donovan Edwards will start, but I'd put money on Khalil Mullings having more carries than
Okay.
Donovan Edwards. I think he's a slept-on running back for sure.
Okay.
I like it. We didn't have this question in it, but I got to know. Obviously, you kind of talked about the offense being a little hitter. So. You don't really know what to expect, right? A lot of new faces on the offense. For Michigan to have a successful game against UT's defense, what do you think they really need to succeed in to be able to take advantage of UT's defense? Obviously, UT, some people will say defense not as good. I think we all agree as well that their defense is better this year overall. They obviously don't have the two big dudes in the middle to stop the run as well. But their edge rushers are better. The secondary is better. I think their linebacker play is better. What do you think that big key is kind of for the offense for Michigan?
Well, yeah, man. So there's things that I think are going to happen, and then there's like the X factor, right? So like the things that I believe are going to happen is I do think that a guy like Khalil Mullings and maybe Donovan Edwards are going to be able to run the ball. I do think that Colston Loveland, our All-American tight end, is going to be able to get his run. And so I'm going to go ahead and put those on the side and say like the X factor, even though I think establishing the run is the most important thing for Michigan to do, because we can't play our style of ball if we don't establish the run. So that's the most important. But the X factor and what we didn't see against Fresno State is we got a lot of young, speedy receivers that are not the big, 5-star talented guys that you have at receiver. It's more like the kind of sneaky good guys. And if we can get them the ball in space, Samaj Morgan, Tyler Morris, Fred Moore, and like if we can get them some chunk yardage plays, then everything will open up for Michigan. And so that's my hope, is that we find a way to get those guys involved.
I like it. Talking about stars, right before we got on podcast, Fox had posted a thing on Twitter, kind of looking at the roster talent comparison, of course, with the star rankings, which take what you want. Obviously, some 5 stars turn out, some don't. But I thought it was interesting to Texas, 11 5-stars to Michigan, 1 5-star. 4 stars, Texas 50, Michigan 46. And then the big difference here was 3 stars, Texas 19, and then Michigan 38. So I got
Wins the
question.
natty. Yeah.
I got a question for you, man. How many players can you get fit on a football field at one time, man? It's just 11, right?
Yeah.
And so like here's what's crazy about those stats is like those numbers are very similar to Michigan versus Ohio State last year, Michigan versus Ohio State the year before that, Michigan, Ohio State the year before that, Michigan, Alabama in the Rose Bowl. You want to talk about having some 5-stars, Alabama. But at the end of the day, you can only put 11 dudes on the field. And so that 4-star talent that Michigan has, and the way that they've developed that talent and the scheme that they use to control the game, which is not always the most exciting brand of football, but I will tell you it's exciting to win games. You know what I mean? And so Michigan fans don't really look too much into that 5-star stuff. Like, we want them. Don't get me wrong. We want them. Our heart breaks every time a 5-star goes somewhere else. We want them on our team, but we know that it's not a requirement, for winning big games.
For sure. Well, got 2 more questions for you. Like I said, we appreciate you coming and join us. I don't want to take too much of your time, but obviously it kind of broke today. You may have already known it, but I guess the rest of the world kind of broke today that the Sharon Moore's still not even on a signed contract. Thoughts on what the deal is there? If Sharon's kind of getting a little screwed over, Michigan starts off a little slow, losing a couple $1 million, what he could have got if he would have got a contract signed before the season. Like, What do you think that deal is there?
You know what? You caught me in a rare moment because I've actually had a tremendously busy day and I've been staying off of Twitter. And so I don't know the details of that, man. But I will tell you this, Ward Manuel, our athletic director, he's taken a lot of criticism. But I think he's handled the Sharon situation pretty well. And I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the team in Michigan being 100% behind the coach. I'll have to read about the details of that, but I'm not worried about us making a change or anything like that anytime soon. It's probably just I mean, honestly, you tell me. I don't know what does it say? What's the reasoning
quote?
behind it?
The quote and the only thing I've really seen is just the quote from the AD, and it was talking about how Sharon Moore's coaching without an official contract signed, and he says they just don't happen overnight, and there are things that have popped up, but they're being worked on. Sharon knows our commitment to him. We know his commitment to us, and the same thing with the assistant coaches. What's the quote?
Yeah, it sounds just like contract negotiations. You know what I mean? Like there's lawyers dealing with that stuff. I have no idea.
5 months.
Yeah. Well, they might be just like waiting to see how this whole investigation pans out, right? Like that's what everybody's going to point to. Who knows? Sharon was involved in all of that stuff too. So maybe that does play a factor.
Sure. All right. Last one, the biggest one. I have my lucky 8 ball here, right here for you and the rest of Michigan faithful. Whoever tunes in for Michigan faithful here. Obviously, some big dogs at home. How many home win games? Is 38? Was it 38 home win games, right, big boys? Is that the number?
That was 28.
20 something.
Yeah.
You're talking about for Michigan in a row?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's 29 regular season games in a row, 23 home wins in a row.
Got it. Okay. So 23 home wins in a row. Going to be UT's largest crowd that they've ever played in front of in the history of UT football. Goes back to 2005. It was only 103 or 105,000 whenever they played Ohio State at DKR. So going to be the largest crowd. Michigan 6.5, 7.5 point underdogs. Y'all are going to need this 8 ball. What is the final score prediction you got?
All right, man. So here's what I'm going to give you a long answer because that's who I am. That's just how I answer these things. I'm not just going to spout off a number here. So I'm a diehard Michigan fan. I'm one of these guys. Like I'm a member of the Michigan media, but I never hide my fandom. I'm not one of those guys that's like neutral. Like, no, I'm a Michigan dude. Always have been. Even though I'm a diehard Michigan fan and my family's all from Michigan and I followed Michigan my entire life, I actually grew up in Austin, Texas. And so this is a big game for me. I waited years and years and years. In my senior year of high school, Michigan played Texas in 2005. And I'm talking shit to my boys that are all Texas fans. And I'm it's the Rose Bowl. It's a big game. And you guys probably remember Texas won that game by 1 point with a last second field goal, right? Vince Young. It was the year before the Natty for Texas.
Yeah.
And so now I've waited all this time for a rematch. Do I wish that maybe the rematch would have happened last year when we had JJ McCarthy and Blake Corum? Like, yeah, I'm gonna give you that. I kind of wish that we had those guys, but there's no way in hell I'm gonna pick Michigan to lose this game. It's just not gonna happen. I've seen Michigan do this too many times where they look not great against a non-conference smaller opponent, and everybody panics like, oh my God, they're not as good. And it's like, listen, and I'm not talking shit about Texas, but you don't know what you have when you run Colorado State out of the building. You just don't know. And so it'll be interesting to see. I think that if Michigan holds Texas under 27 points, they can win this game. So I'm gonna call it Michigan 27, Texas 26. 1 point win for Michigan to get retribution for the Rose Bowl all those years ago.
There you go.
I like that.
Nice. Don't believe it, but nice.
Well, we'll get into that in a second, but
Great story there. Well,
and then you guys can continue your show without me and talk about how Texas is gonna win by 35 points or whatever.
If Texas scores 27, I think they got it. Yeah. So
I will say.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is I
think it's gonna be low scoring.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if Texas gets in the end zone 3 times or 4 times offensively, like, that's not good. What we would need is Michigan to really, like, surprise us with, like, "Oh, shit," like, "this offense is clicking all of a
Yeah.
sudden," and that can happen. It's week 2. We don't really know. So it's an exciting time to have this kind of big game. We haven't had this in a few years. Y'all had Bama last year. We haven't had a big game like this in a few years, so it'll be fun to see.
I like it.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
Yeah, be
Man, we
sure and
appreciate-
go back and watch our part once you leave, and you'll hear us talk about it.
Yeah, I bet, man. I bet. I already know what you're gonna say.
You'll hear big boys like 55-21 score prediction.
Stop it.
Like
Stop
that.
it.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna be that bad.
Well, man, we appreciate you coming on, joining us, everyone. Whether Michigan wins or loses, make sure you tune in to the Wolverine Chronicle next week at post game. I'm sure we'll have some nice reactions one way or the other. Who knows what will happen at 11 a.m. kickoff Central Time. But, man, we appreciate you joining us.
You guys are top notch. Thank you so much. When Michigan comes to Austin in a few years, we'll squad up and hit the game or something.
Let's do it.
Or
Are you going down? Are you going up there?
not this week. I was going to, I got wife and young kids.
Little man.
We went to the Natty and the Ohio State game last year, so
Yeah.
I'll be flying up for the USC game in a couple weeks, man.
yeah.
So I'll be watching it from the comfort of my own home. But Michigan's coming to Norman, Oklahoma next year, so if you guys want to just come and just boo Oklahoma with me, we can do that, man.
I'm in.
That's right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
There we go.
I'll be here.
Thank you,
I'll be
guys.
here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks,
man.
Mike.
Later, guys.
Woo,
Nice.
boys,
Y'all-
it is time.
Y'all
Woo!
definitely go check him out, man. I love watching his stuff. He gets real in depth. He's very knowledgeable on the Wolverines, man. He's a great insider, great reporter there. Wolverine Chronicle.
Yep,
Go
for
check
sure.
it out.
Boys, week 2 is here.
What you got?
2 blue bloods going at it, 2 top 10 teams going at it, 1 college game day at the one and only Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. What do y'all think about this game, boys?
I didn't, I felt, obviously Michael, great guy. Wolverine Chronicle, great. I feel like a lot of that, though, was a little bit of the fandom coming out. There was a little bit of fandom in there, I think.
I think he knows that they're going to have to run the ball and they're going to have to slow
there was
Quinn
a little bit
down.
of worriness in there. We didn't hear that worriness last year, obviously, for a pretty good reason. There was a little bit of worriness in there, and
Yeah.
that's what we like to hear.
The biggest thing I'm worried about, like I said, is Wink Martindale and that defense. If he can throw things at Quinn that just – because I think it is going to be on Quinn. I do think our running game is not the best. We're going to have to pass to open up the running game. And if he can – Quinn got the ball out last week, I think, in like 2.3 seconds. You're not getting to him in time.
His footwork looked good, too.
Yeah. Besides when he threw the interception, his footwork looked good. Footwork looked good.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, especially when you're going, you're but if he's getting it out quick, it doesn't matter who's on the other side. Like, unless they get in the passing lanes and put their hands up and get some batted balls down. I really think Quinn's on one, man. I do. I just see a different. He just seems different to me, just in talking and in everything he's doing. And they've had a year or whatever, 6 months to get ready for this. So
over under set at 42.5. So his score prediction would have just been right over the over.
Yeah,
barely.
I just don't personally see Michigan being able to score 27 points. So, and I think they're going to have to hold Texas like under 20. And, like an 18-15, 18-12 game. Like, I think if Michigan muddies it up like that, that's how they're going to win. Yeah. But I think if Texas scores 24, 27 points, I think our defense can stop.
I think if Quinn and the offense as a whole, especially the running backs too, limit the turnovers, especially on Michigan.
Turnovers, yeah.
On Michigan side of the field, don't let them have a short field, right? I don't see how Michigan would score more than 3 touchdowns unless they have the ball in the short field early, like 30 yards, 40 yards, Like, just don't give us
Turnovers. If
short
Texas
field.
gets, if they give up 2 or 3 turnovers, I mean, you can cancel Christmas. In a game like this,
Yeah.
you can't turn the ball over.
Yeah. I honestly think it's going to be kind of like the Georgia Clemson game. And the fact that in the first half, there really wasn't a lot going on. I think Michigan's going to come out with defensive looks that are going to throw Quinn off. And so I don't think there'll be much in the first half. And then I think it gets to halftime and they go make a new game plan at halftime and come back in the second half and do work in the second half and carry it away.
I'm going chips, my 8-ball, all in, like I did last year for the Bama game. Sark, I'm all in, 110%, 120%, all in. This is his do or die game for me. I think Texas puts up three TDs first 3 drives of the game, 21 points first quarter.
Wow.
That happens.
Just like the Bama game, come out hot, steaming hot, and Michigan don't have the offense like Bama did last year to kind of make it come back a little bit and closing it up a little bit. I'm all in.
We have 2 different opinions there. I think Texas is going to eventually run away with it at the end in the second half. But
I think second half could be different. Like Texas defense has to step up because Martindale comes out, adjust, Sark's. I'm still going to be all in on him, but second half adjustments, he's been hit or miss on a little bit, but I think it's still just going to be too far to reach. Michigan make a little comeback. They'll win the second half, but not enough to win the game, I don't think.
Wow. I don't know. And then looking ahead, Michigan needs to win, I think, 2 out of the 4 big games this year to go to the playoffs. They got Texas, Ohio State. They got Penn State, who, with the new offensive coordinator, looked great. And then USC proved themselves this past week.
Iowa
as well.
If Iowa has an offense, you better watch out, man.
But
the over-under for the Iowa State game real quick. Did you see that?
No, what is it?
35.
Listen, Iowa scored 40 points. That ain't happened in years.
Who'd they play?
You can add up 3 games and they don't hit 40.
Illinois State, though?
I don't care, bro. I don't care.
Yes.
I don't care.
40 of those, 21 of those 40 points came in the fourth quarter. It was 6-0 at halftime. 6.
I didn't know. I didn't watch the game. I just thought it was about the score.
6-0 at halftime. And 2 of their touchdowns were like breakaway plays that were a 64-yard run for a touchdown on 4.
Yeah, and then the Big Ten, you're getting caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Back to this other Big Ten game. No, it's a big game for Michigan, obviously. After last week, big game for both, but how Michigan performed last week, like Michael kind of said, has everyone freaking out a little bit, which I don't like. I wish they would have just rolled them because now you have your fans, mainly your Texas A&M fans, who, they lost Notre Dame, but Notre Dame's ranked number 5 now, so they played someone good. And Michigan struggled against whoever the Fresno State. Like
that can be settled in the last week.
That's all going to be taken care of.
That's going to be taken care of. They don't have to worry about that.
We can both sides can talk till the cows come home, but they're actually going to play this year.
They're going to play.
I just on the game, I think our defense is so much faster than they have been even last year. And in the secondary, again, it's Colorado State. But the Colorado State's receiver will be in the NFL.
Listen.
Maybe 2 of them. And they were coming up and they were tackling when
57 yards passing. I promise you that that quarterback.
See what they do when they play Colorado this week.
That quarterback was good last year too. How much better is he than Michigan's walk-on, who's won the starting job?
And boys, we talked about it like last week after the Texas game. We all watched Texas game on Zoom, and it's so big that Texas held them to the shutout. Like
it's happened, bro. I don't even know the last time that happened. Like
exactly.
we always watch these games when they play Rice or Wyoming, and it's like a second half, like how Michigan did.
And it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's Colorado State. Holding it to 0 points is really, truly something special.
Especially what happened in Michigan, Oregon, some of those teams. Like,
yeah.
It's I hope the defense comes to play like I think they can. And
Collins and Braun got to have big games. They got to be able to be on the field a lot, stop the run. If they stop the run, honestly, as long as Alex Orji's not in the game, I think the defensive will be like put those linebackers low in the box and let them try to beat you one-on-one with wide receivers. Let them dare them until they do. A couple times. I don't care if they do it once. Everyone gets lucky every once in a while. Until they do it a couple times, beating Malik Muhammad one-on-one outside, beating Jahade Barron one-on-one and outside, who had an insane pick last week, and getting over the top of the safety rotation of Makuba, Taff, who Coop hates, but he's good. Taff, Makuba, Derek Williams. Like those dudes like that. I mean, put Jalen Gilbo down in that box. Like, put those dudes in the box and make him pass the ball. Now, when Alex Orji comes in, then
that scares me. I hate running quarterbacks. I hate running quarterbacks.
Last year, put your QB spy out there, whether it's Hill or Maurice Blackwell, and still put the pressure in the box and just hope your QB spy can at least make a tackle or give everyone enough time to get over and help you make the tackle. One of the two.
And Ant Hill can get them. And if you got, like you said, LaFalle and Blackwell out there, they're fast, man. They're athletes. So
if Michigan runs the ball, then I think it's going to be a close game. If they can run the ball controllably, which we saw a couple big runs last week from Colorado State, a little scary, but it was more of not when Braun and Collins were in the game together was when it kind of happened. Then I'll be a little bit concerned.
Well, and they were playing a lot of dime, stuff like that. They weren't key. They said you were going to have to run the ball on us to beat us.
Oh, honestly, run and take out the nickel to start the game. Don't even run nickel. No. Take Gilbo out, run 4-3. And you got Ant Hill. I would go Ant Hill, Benda, and then either Blackwell if old boy's in the game, Orji, or
LaFalle.
That's what that's why they pay me the big bucks. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
I call the defense. They don't know, but I do. I'm going to call it Connor Stallions. I can sit at home, see what the formation looks like from the TV and call the plays. But,
hey, did y'all watch that doc though?
Oh, I need to.
Oh man.
Dude,
he's right. I mean, I really wish that UT had two guys like Connor Stallion. They would never lose a game. And I'm not saying that's the reason that he just loves football, dude. I mean, just loves Michigan football. And literally he went to the military because so many great coaches had been military guys. So he said, I'm going to go to the military so I can be a great coach.
For sure.
It's awesome.
All right. Before we move on to these other, obviously, NFL opening weekend, we need to talk about that a little bit. Chiefs game delayed until 7:40 kick now. Chiefs versus Ravens opening night. But obviously, we need the score predictions, the final score. I think we all know what side the dub's coming from. But what score do we have? Big boy?
I don't even want to say it because what I've been thinking in my head.
Oh, you keep the same energy.
I am. I'm going to keep that energy, man. It's just something about it. I think Texas is going to be like 35-3, 35-10 going into the third quarter. I really do.
Get into the game today on the phone.
I said Arch will play in the fourth quarter. I really think I don't know why.
That scares me now. I'm not gonna lie.
It should because I never talk like this. I never talk like this. I think Quinn is on one. I think Sark is on one, and I think the defense.
That's terrifying.
I think the defense. The reason is because I think our defense is legit this year. I think we have a legit defense.
Wow.
And I was the one screaming, I don't think we do. And it's not just because the shutout. It's just because the way they did it. They took something totally away from a team who is good at passing. And I do think if we concentrate on the run, they're fast, man. They are so fast, and they're coming up and tackling. We'll see. Again, it was Colorado State, and maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. And I don't talk like this,
You
boys.
do not. I know. No.
I
you
know.
don't
It
talk
should
like
scare
this.
you.
It scares the crap out of me.
I know.
But I'm glad you feel that way.
And honestly, before the season started, I said Michigan, we're going to lose. I said we will lose to Michigan. That was my call. That's why I said 9-3.
And so did that change after you saw them play last week and what Michigan did last week? Or was it just
It's more
like
just what I saw with them, the things that you hear from the team, the way that Sark is presenting himself, the confidence they have, the things I've seen from Quinn.
He's on demon mode this week.
Like, dog, they're like, it's just like, come and get some, bitch.
They're the villains.
Excuse me, you two. That's what they said. Come on. Like, they're not scared of a fight anymore.
Right.
And if you punch them in the mouth, they're going to punch you back instead of like it has been. And I've loved all the UT teams, but it just does seem like sometimes it's like if it gets to a point, like they're not going to, finish, or they're not going to, I think they're a finishing team now. They're going to put their foot on your throats, man. And we'll see. I might be crazy. I might come in here and say, I apologize to UT Nation because my dumb ass said something, but man, I do, man. I think this is a different deal. Wow. And I don't care who's at receiver because I think Quinn's going to find him.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
I'm glad you feel that way, big boy.
Staying alive.
We'll see. I think it's going to be a tough first half. I think it's
hold on. Sorry, Coop. So my final is 42-10.
42-10.
Because Manny's going to come in, score a touchdown.
Okay. I think it's a little bit tighter. I think it's like we talked about. We said the biggest crowd Texas has played against ever. I think that's going to have some pull in it a little bit. I'm going to go 28-17. The Horns pull out in the second half. I think it's a close game up until the second half, though. I really do believe that. But yeah, that's mine. 28-17. Horns.
All right. Well, I already said 21 points in the first. So my total final score is going to be 38 the Horns to 24 Michigan Wolverines. Like I said, I think Michigan's going to score a little bit more than people are expecting. I could see them getting 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Texas, 5 touchdowns and a field goal. 38-24 is what I got. Cover the spread way over the over. That's a little scary. Way over the over. But we'll see what happens. I like it. Kind of sticking to college real quick. Obviously, Florida State, rough. First 2 weeks for Florida State, 0-2. I'll be a Florida State fan right now. Not where you want to be as a program as a whole. We're looking at around the country this week for ranked games with involving at least one ranked team. Not much going on that's really big. The only big one that kind of sticks out to me is the ranked versus ranked. Number 14, Tennessee at number 24, NC State. 6:30 kick. ABC, Tennessee's -10 at NC State, who's ranked 24. Tennessee, big game last week. Big hopes for the season. Some saying kind of the sleeper pick in the SEC. Big for them going into the season, too, because they open up first SEC game in Norman in 2 weeks. Talking about that possibly being college game day, both teams go undefeated. I think that could be a little sneaky game there at NC State. NC State's always scrappy. Tennessee, they got the dudes, but it's like the thing. It's like, how much can you really judge off week 1?
I think Tennessee rolls.
I do too. I think we saw a Nico that he went 22 for 28 passing, 314 yards, 3 touchdowns last week. He's legit. I really do think Tennessee has a legit program.
I mean, look what happened when they had a quarterback 2 years ago. They would have been in the Natty.
Yeah.
They would have been. And so I think Heupel's legit.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, comes down to the quarterback play for me, and Nico is a top guy. I'd put him honestly. I was gonna say top 3 quarterback in the SEC, but that's pushing it. But
We'll see. He could be by the end of it, man.
he could be. He's good.
Definitely over A&M Connor over there.
100%. Yeah, let's talk about that game for real.
Not even
Just
ranked.
one
They're
second.
not even ranked anymore.
Do what?
Not
It's not even ranked anymore.
Yeah, they're horrible.
I know, but that's a big drop to lose to a number. Was Notre Dame 10?
they were 10.
Yeah, now they're number 5.
I mean,
They dropped completely out of the rankings. That just shows you not only did they not. I mean, that was a close game, but that just shows you
because it's and Kyle Field. But
they don't think QB1's QB1 over there that everyone thought.
oh God,
I think he'll be okay, man. I think that was first game nerves. I think A&M will still be okay. Sorry to tell you.
Not with that quarterback, they're not. No.
That was his first game back, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look at your face, dork.
You play your right home field, man. That's awful.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, Big Noon Kickoff, biggest game of the weekend.
Oh man,
Get our reactions next week.
I'm telling you, I usually don't get the nerves going on Thursdays, boys, but it was early this morning. I was getting that feeling.
That's good.
Give me 2 plays, coach. I'll tear both my hamstrings and probably get ran over, but hey.
He's feeling it. Big boy, you got eligibility still. You can go.
Yeah, I still got some eligibility. I don't know how much they want a fat 45-year-old, but hey.
Yeah. Well, that's a little college ball. Obviously, we'll close it out this week talking a little bit about NFL opening weekend. Finally here. Starting tonight, Thursday night, then Friday night game in Brazil, Packers and the Eagles over.
Don't go outside.
Yeah, stay
in your hotel. Some of them boys are going to be out in the club. All the Brazilian women, they're like, I'll risk it. I don't care.
So I think it was a dude on the Eagles, I want to say. I think it was the Eagles. They have a dude who did like a mission trip over there on their team. And there was a bunch of the dudes and like their practice availability said, hey, bro, like, you can't leave us. Like, we're staying with you. Like, anywhere you go, we're going with
you. That's fine.
Is there any, NFL, obviously week 1's tough for NFL, just like it is for college, to really get a good judgment. But any games kind of standing out to y'all in the NFL landscape? Obviously, long weekend of some NFL football. Monday night, Jets at 49ers. Aaron Rodgers returns as the underdogs at San Fran, but anything that's sticking out to y'all?
Let's hope he lasts longer than 3 plays this year.
Who?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Aaron.
Well, Cowboys and the Browns, that's going to be a game.
That's what I'm about to say. The Cowboys are the underdog.
We'll see. We'll see what all
plus 115. I say, big boy, if you're after, Saturday, 11 a.m. kick, if it goes the way we hope and expect, you may just have to test your luck with your Cowboys to start the year too. Plus 115 in Cleveland.
I
not so much confidence there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do. I think Cleveland's defense, if they're going to be as good as they were last year or better, I mean, that's scary. But Cowboys got a defense too, and the masseuse did not look good last year. So we'll see what he comes with. So. And Dak, he's whatever Jerry's doing with that, Did
you see the Stephen A. Smith interview?
Yeah. It's good for Stephen.
Oh, big time.
I'm glad, man. It's true. Yeah. What are you doing? I know y'all hate him. I know a lot of y'all hate on him. Oh no, who you want to get better? Who you want to do? You know what I mean?
Shadir Sanders.
Okay.
Big Paul will literally stop. He won't. You'll be done
if they got rid of Dak Prescott for Shadur Sanders. You're right. I will never speak a word of the Cowboys again. Mark my mouth and words.
First, season 2 Sports Roundtable Trio Edition, right here.
I will literally never watch another game of them. Well, when they're playing my new team, I'll have to find my new team. I don't know. We've been through this a million times.
Oh yeah.
But
No,
You know my
I
feelings.
look for this game that's about to happen right now. I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Ravens, big game. 2 top Super Bowl contenders, or 2 top Super Bowl favorites.
And Lamar, they're talking a lot about Lamar now. He's getting that Dak treatment. Like he can't do nothing, can't win the big one, he can't do this.
Yeah.
This is the regular season, but
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see that backfield for the first time. I mean,
Derek-
Lamar and Derrick Henry. Come on.
that's
That's
scary.
ridiculous.
Right. I like that. I also like too, back to KC offense, kind of get back to like the
Patrick has guys now. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill days, like those dudes when he had him, and like obviously he doesn't have a new caliber to Tyreek Hill, but mesh in 3 of those dudes together, you get into a little Tyreek Hill situation.
That's scary.
And you still got what's scary is everyone's gonna be focused on. Well, yeah, but everyone's gonna be focused on those 3 receivers. And that leaves a little Mr. Travis Kelce tight end is right.
He's
over
not going to have the year
there.
that he's supposed to. We're just going to throw it out there. Same thing for fantasy. He's not going to have a fantasy.
Well, that's
year.
part of the script. Supposedly him and Taylor are supposed to break up in a couple weeks.
She's at the game.
That's wild, isn't it?
She is at the game.
What did they? Is it fake or what?
Yeah, they came out. They said they came out as an AI like generated contract that like the publisher of the people said, yeah, this is an AI because they had to
What
Travis,
else are they going to say?
Well, but Travis and them had to comment on it because that's like his PR firm. So that's the only reason they had to comment on it. Is that's like his little firm.
I know supposedly lawyers got involved very quick.
Yeah.
So
They already showed her, of course.
Of course they did.
Up in the suite.
They showed her a couple times in the NFL promo too. So
people were like
they were mad about that
5 times.
But hey, it brings the people, man. As much as a football fan I am,
Roger Goodell does not care. I can promise you that.
No.
Because if you're going to watch football, you're going to watch it. You're not going to stop watching because, it's on there. It's just bringing more fans, bringing younger fans, bringing women.
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
Swifties.
Oh,
Swifties.
Yeah. I mean, they may release the numbers whenever they release the numbers for this Thursday night game. It may be the most watched football opener in history. It may probably be the most watched Thursday night football game in history just because of that factor right there. Like that's the big thing. Everyone's been waiting on the whole summer in Swiftie land is Taylor Swift going to be at the first game? She doesn't have her tour again until October, so she can go to the however first many games.
I like how you know that.
He's a Swiftie.
You know who I'm with.
That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, man, it's 2024. Do what you want to do, man.
I'm
It's
going
not
to
1986 anymore. I get it.
Going to a Swiftie concert.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
I mean, I'm going. I'm going to support.
It's cool.
I'm going to support. She supports NFL and our love for football. So I'll go and support by attending a concert. How about that?
Yeah, spending $2,000 on a ticket.
They won the lottery. So they do it like the lottery. So they won the lottery. It's only $200 a ticket. Now you could sell it for like $4,000 where the seats are.
I think that's what I would do.
I already tried to convince that makes them a little quick cash there, but
That'd be nice. Wish I would have got about 6 of those.
yeah. Well,
that's funny.
any other thoughts going into this weekend that y'all got?
No, man, ready for all football to start, man. This is exciting. I know this was the mostly Michigan, Texas podcast.
If you think about it, like that's all pretty much what this weekend is for college.
For me, it is. I'm focused.
Yeah,
I'm
and then
focused.
NFL, it's hard to
expect from the NFL.
We'll have more next week on NFL after we have a week 1 done.
Hopefully, we should have Adam Sherry back too. So
hopefully,
yeah,
that's our NFL
with his new internet connection. Sure, it'll be just as good.
I'm sure. Well,
all right, boys, go Xavier.
Right. Yeah. See
what if X catches like 3 touchdowns tonight? 260.
My Texas score jumps up to 55 points instead of 38.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in this week. Make sure y'all go check out Wolverine Chronicle over there.
Check it out.
Michigan Insider. Whether, like I said, Michigan pulls off the I guess you could say upset victory with the rankings and the line. Go tune in, see what the thoughts are over there. there's Matt L, it's even going to be even good to go over there and watch UT fans. Who knows what will happen. But y'all tune in next week, recap obviously what happens in UT Michigan game. But of course, week 1 in the NFL is here. We'll recap that and everything else that brings the sports world. Any new things can happen over this next week. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see you next week on the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition. Peace.
Welcome.